All right, so we are in the midst of Black Breastfeeding Week, and as promised, I am delivering some great tips for breastfeeding, things that can help us increase our statistics of breastfeeding as well as increase the length of time that we can breastfeed. These are tips that I feel are particularly important for Black women that we don't always see discussed. So I wanted to make sure that I bring attention to them. So my last video was about preparation. Today, this is a little bit of a mix of both. This is about preparation and things that you can use while you're in the midst of breastfeeding. This video is mainly about the resources that are available to help you be a great breastfeeder, to help you achieve your goals of breastfeeding, or to even help you define your goals of breastfeeding. And so I want to start off with a few that were very helpful to me. The first one was my midwife. Now, I know everyone doesn't have a midwife. Everyone doesn't plan to have a midwife in their birthing plan. I want to say that you could probably ask your OBGYN these questions. I am a little bit iffy in saying that because I personally do not trust OBGYNs. I haven't had great experiences with them, and just keeping it 100, they're not lactation consultants. So with that being said, I went to my midwife, and my midwife was amazing at preparing me for breastfeeding. She talked to me about the foods that I can eat to prepare. She talked to me about the herbs I can use to prepare. I also did my birthing class with her, and so my birthing class incorporated preparation for birth and postpartum, and therefore she educated on breastfeeding in my class. I'm sure that there's some classes that you can find through the hospital that have to deal with birth planning, and they should also be educating on breastfeeding, right? But let's be honest, your OB's not coming home with you. So that was the advantage of having a midwife, is that after you give birth, your midwife actually comes to your home and checks on you. And so she checked to see if my baby was latching correctly. She checked and gave me like tips about some more things that I could eat. One of the best things that she gave me advice on while I was breastfeeding was that I needed to ask for more help from my family. She literally told me, when people are coming to see the baby, tell them they can't come unless they're going to help you do something. Unless they're going to help wash dishes, unless they're going to bring you some food, unless they're going to wash your clothes. If they're not coming to help do something, they don't need to see baby. They don't need to hold baby. You need to hold baby because you're nursing. Excuse me, I just did my hair, so I got some coconut oil right there. But they don't need to do anything with baby but help mom. That's it. That's all you need them for right now. And so that was the advantage of my midwife. Also, doulas. If you hire a doula, try to hire your doula for birth and postpartum, because doulas are great resources to come and help you with breastfeeding. Your doula is not just there for the support during labor. Your doula can come, doulas are trained to come and help you with nursing. They can make sure that you're latching correctly. They can make sure that if baby has a tongue tied, to help you get to the correct resources. If there's things going on that's helping baby not properly latch, they usually tend to have an understanding of what's being communicated from your milk through baby's poop. They can help you understand that. They can help you understand if there's something in your diet that's causing negative reactions during your breastfeeding. I saw a woman a few days ago in a Facebook group that I'm in. She said that her doctor told her to stop breastfeeding because her baby was lactose intolerant. Now, I want y'all to understand that the enzyme that makes you lactose intolerant comes from cows. And so it was funny to me that the doctor told her to stop nursing instead of saying stop drinking milk. Stop drinking milk. This is why I'm saying that I would advise that if you get services to help you with breastfeeding, it's not through your OB. I've heard horror stories coming through OBs. And so this woman stopped nursing when all she had to do was stop consuming dairy. See what I'm saying? This is why it's important to have the correct resources. And I want y'all to understand that it's not really going to come through your doctors. OBs are trained in birthing procedures, as in surgeries, not in how to be a mom. Most of them are not trained in how to be a mom. Another resource that's great, lactation consultants. A lot of hospitals now have lactation consultants. If you have a hospital birth, you can request a lactation consultant. Hopefully, you're birthing at a hospital that is a baby and mom friendly hospital. There's hospitals now that literally have their staff trained in breastfeeding and natural practices. And so they will send a lactation consultant to your room to make sure that you're nursing properly, to make sure that baby's not having any issues. That's also why a lot of those hospitals that have that certification and practice, they actually will not allow pacifiers and they won't allow bottles during your stay. They will request that you actually practice breastfeeding first. There's a video out right now of a lady and her husband, and unfortunately the police were called on them. But the background of that story is that they asked the nurse for a breast pump, and the nurse told them no. And they were upset about it, but it made me kind of laugh because in truth, the nurse was right. No, you shouldn't be using a breast pump the first 1 to 2 days of your baby being born. Your baby and the saliva that your baby has is what communicates to your breast to produce milk. So there's hospitals that are actually trying to help and save women the trouble of not being able to nurse their children because they're using the wrong practices out of their own ignorance. Aside from that, WIC. A lot of people do not understand that WIC, women, infants, and children, has great resources for breastfeeding moms. Before you have your child, you can actually consult with a WIC consultant about breastfeeding. They'll give you advice of things to do prior to going into the hospital. They'll give you advice for things to do after you have baby. And then they also help by having support groups with other women that breastfeed so that y'all can talk about the things that are happening with you and give each other advice. They also provide free breast pumps. They don't provide that until you're breastfeeding. I want to say it's like 4 to 6 weeks you have to breastfeed before they provide you with a pump. Again, that's because you need to develop that connection between you and baby, and you need to make sure that you actually have it down pat, because some women will give up on nursing and they'll just pump, and then they want to know, like, well, why is my milk supply low? Well, because you're not doing what's natural for your body to produce that milk. So WIC is a great resource for that. For breastfeeding moms, they also give you like additional food, I want to say, so that you can produce more milk, and that's their way of cutting down on giving formula. Also, family. Now, when I say family, I'm a little hesitant. But there are families who have women in their family who have nursed. So when I say family, I'm talking about the women who have breastfed. Don't go to your mom that used formula. She's really not going to have the best advice for you, and she's probably going to be a little bit scary, as well as give you recommendations that the doctors gave her, and you're probably not going to have the best results. And I know that sucks to say, like, hey, don't listen to your mom, she doesn't know, or don't listen to that family member, they don't know. But you need to find the family members that breastfed, and you talk to them and you consult with them, and you get them to be your support system through nursing. Also, social media and social groups in your city. There's some great social media groups out there for breastfeeding moms on Facebook, on Instagram, and they really give great advice. A lot of those groups have doulas in them, lactation consultants in them, and so if there's no one immediately around you to help you with understanding what you can do to improve your breastfeeding, whether it's you have clogged ducts, whether your supply's low and you need to know what herbs you can take, what food you can eat, whether it's your baby's getting gassy from your milk and you're trying to understand what to remove from your diet, those groups, whether they're on social media or local, because you can find them on social media and then meet up with them locally, are great support groups for helping you to be better at breastfeeding. A lot of these things that I suggested are things that I use myself. Actually, everything that I just suggested, I use myself except for the doula. I did not have a doula. So a midwife, wig, lactation consultant at the hospital, family member. I had a cousin who highly encouraged me to nurse. She told me not to be embarrassed by people wanting me to cover up my breast because my baby's not going to want me to. And then social media and local groups were all great support for me. Also, check and see if there is a group in your city called Nurse Family Partnership. Nurse Family Partnership also was a great resource for me when I was pregnant. It's a free resource. They send a nurse to your home to check on you and your baby to make sure that you are getting the resources you need to be a great breastfeeding mom. If you're having any problems, they will help you. They're great. My nurse was Miss Nicole. I actually worked to do promotions with Nurse Family Partnership. They are a great resource for women in general. But if you're breastfeeding, especially if you're in a place where you may not get insurance to be able to pay for your midwife, or insurance to be able to pay for your doula, or insurance to be able to pay for your lactation consultant, Nurse Family Partnership is a free service that is very beneficial for breastfeeding moms that need resources. So with that being said, I hope that this was helpful to somebody. As always, feel free to contact me, ask questions, and don't be afraid to seek the resources that you need to benefit you. This is about you being the best mother you can, and about you having the healthiest baby that you can, and about us as a community increasing our abilities and our statistics when it comes to nursing and providing breast milk, health, nutrition, and nourishment for our children. As always, peace and love.